What's up guys, Ryan here from Mudgunner. Today we are going to be talking about AR trigger pins. So some of you may have had in the past where you're shooting an AR and you lose a trigger pin or they start to walk out. And I'm at the point where this one is starting to walk out. So some of you may have never experienced this, but basically your trigger on your AR is held together by two pins. So this one is fully seated, this one is just starting to back out. I'll show you on this side. So you kind of see it's sticking out right here. And yeah, basically your trigger's held together by those two pins, and if they come out, your trigger does not function properly. This one still functions as of right now, fires and everything, but yeah, it's starting to walk out, and I think the reason for that is this trigger has been changed into 2 or 3 different lowers. So it's made its way around town. I don't even remember if these are the original pins or not. It is a Geisley trigger, but it's not a Geisley trigger issue because I have this one right here, and this trigger was changed like once, and I've had this gun since 2018. I've had the trigger in here since like 2019, and this trigger has never backed out. So it's not a Geisley trigger issue, but it's just a pin issue, which they're just held together by friction. So the friction on this rear pin, or on this front pin, is starting to give out. The rear pin still seems fine, but luckily for us, they have a fix for that. These are anti-walk pins, and some of you may have heard about these, or if you built an AR from the ground up, you may have started with these, but basically what these do is they replace your standard pins, and then you put 2 screws on each side, and it locks them in place. So it's an anti-walk pin set, so they'll never back out. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at today, and I figured since I'm doing it, I might as well show you guys. But yeah, that pin is just slowly backing out. I got it back in place and took it shooting one more time, and after shooting, it just ended up like that again. So this is part of like the maintenance of your gun, where you should always be like aware of what's going on with your gun. I shoot this gun pretty often, and while I didn't feel any difference with it, I pick it up and I'm like, oh, that pin is walking. So yeah, just always keep an eye on your guns, because if it's a rifle or a pistol or whatever that you might depend on your life one day, you want to make sure you know that rifle or pistol in and out. And I'd like to say I know this one in and out, and I noticed that one day and I'm like, huh, that's interesting. But yeah, I noticed it, I fixed it, or I pushed it back in, shot it one more time, and it's kind of walking out again. So I got this as the fix. Again, CMC anti-walk pin set, and I'm gonna show you how to put it in. All right, so once again, this is a CMC anti-walk pin set. CMC makes amazing triggers, and I really like their anti-walk pin set. I've installed about 100 of their triggers, helping build ARs for a company, and all their triggers ship with these. So they are very nice and easy to install. I'm gonna add a little bit of Loctite on the screws just to, make sure they never back out, but other than that, you should be fine even if you don't use Loctite. But pretty easy to install, so don't lose your parts. And I'm thinking what I can do is, since this is just partially out, I can just kind of drive out the old pin with the new pin and hopefully not have to take the whole gun apart to do this. So the pin is kind of just like out of place right there. So what I'm going to do is I have to move the trigger, and I'll try to push it through with this pin. And I don't have a mallet, so I'm going to just lightly tap it with this. And it's already in. And you'll see it's pushing out the old pin very easily. Boom. Piece of cake. This was that old pin. And I don't remember if this is the factory Geisley pin or not, but yeah. This is going to be an upgrade anyways. And if let's say you already have an AR and your pins aren't walking out, this is something you don't necessarily have to do, but it could be a nice upgrade, and it's cheap. They're only about 15 bucks, so easy upgrade, and I don't think you'll regret it. I'm going to check this one, because this one is pretty stiff. Actually, it's a little loose. I think what I'll do is I'll just push just slightly, and then we'll push the new one in. Trying to do this in front of the camera for you. Do a light tap as well. I promise it's light. Oop, too far. really too far. So I'm gonna just do a light tap to, maybe not a light tap. So I'm just gonna put the flat part of this Glock, and this is a Glock tool for any of you that are wondering. I'm just gonna put the flat part right here and tap it just to keep it flush. So now they are both flush, and let me just double check, make sure my trigger is okay. When you do this, you wanna keep it up so they don't fall out, but rack my charging handle. Still functions. Now I can add the screws. And again, I'm going to put just a little bit of Loctite on each one. Just the smallest amount, if it'll focus. Now I'm going to start threading it in. So you can just get it started on each side. It comes with 2 Allen keys, that way you'll be able to tighten it from each side at the same time. And when it's finished, that's what it'll look like. I don't think it looks bad. Some anti-lock pin sets have a bar that also goes between them, but I don't think that's necessary, and I've never used one, but I wouldn't complain if it's on there. But I think this one looks pretty clean. So we're just going to do the same thing on this side. I have my dog's hair all over my gun. That was a lot, but oh well. You want to use blue Loctite, do not use red. Blue Loctite is user serviceable. So basically it is like recoil resistant, and it won't back out. But red Loctite is not user serviceable. If you put that on, you will not be able to take these apart without like destroying them. So blue Loctite will not back out due to recoil, but you can service it with just a couple Allen keys and still take it apart. So now I have all 4 screws hand tightened, and what I need to do next is basically tighten them, but on each side at the same time. All right, I think this is going to be the easiest way I can show you guys. So you use the 2 Allen keys, start with 1 pin at a time on both sides. Basically what you can do is just tighten from each side. So one side, they're basically going in opposite directions. And you don't need it extremely tight. Hand tight will do, especially if you're using blue Loctite. So this is about hand tight. I don't foresee that backing out. If it ever does, I'll let you know. But as of right now, these should be good. That is it. Now we have clean anti-lock pins. And trigger is nice and secure. Functions properly. And now we're ready to hit the range again. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this was informative for you. If you have any suggestions on what you would like to see next, please comment below.